While lameness is an ongoing concern for the dairy industry, mastitis can also affect the sheep industry and the suckler herd as well as dairy cows. However, leading research workers acknowledge that it's in the dairy herd that the problem is most acute.
In dairy cattle, much work has been undertaken over the years to control and reduce mastitis, but we seem to have reached a plateau whereby the levels aren't continuing to decrease. And I think what we're seeing is a changing pattern of mastitis in the dairy herd, and it's important that we try to identify exactly what's happening and to take appropriate methods of preventing it.
So mastitis isn't just mastitis, it can be all sorts of different causes.
Yes, that's right. Mastitis means inflammation of the mammary gland, but it can be caused by very different pathogens. So, for instance, some of the environmental causes of mastitis include E. coli and Streptococcus uberis, while other pathogens we know are transmitted through the milking machine. These are the contagious pathogens, and one of the major causes is Staphylococcus aureus. So although it sounds like one condition, it's actually very different, and you need to take different control methods and different means of treating these different infections. And it's important, again, that vets and farmers work together to try to work out what are the major problems on the farm so that the correct, the proportionate treatment can be carried out.
So it's identifying the cause.
Identifying the cause is key, and then identifying the most effective places to put the effort in trying to control disease.
Also central to the management of the Lang Hill herd is the use of cell count profiles provided by the Cattle Information Service. That's the farmer-owned and controlled organisation that aims to improve standards of accuracy and value in dairy management practices.
It's helpful for keeping an eye on problem cows that have high cell counts, identifying them and ensuring that we keep the bulk milk somatic cell count within the premium band, ensuring the top milk price here.
So what sort of type of information comes back in that milk recording report?
In the milk recording report, the cows are monitored once a month here at Lang Hill Farm for the somatic cell count and also for the butterfat and protein levels as well, which also give an indicator of nutritional status in the cows.
If that report shows up a problem, how could a farmer respond to that?
Usually what happens here is that we would go through each month with the cell count report, identify any problem cows, possibly sample them to see what type of bacteria might be involved and decide what treatment or action they need for those cows.
Every dairy farmer hopes and believes he's doing the very best that he can, and he can compare in herd, but how can he compare his herd with other herds in a similar situation?
There's a variety of means of doing that, but essentially what we're looking for all the farms is to keep them within the premium band for their milk purchaser and also be able to compare them with other farms to see that they have the best milk quality.
And that milk recording enables him to do that?
Yes, milk recording will enable him to do that because of the fact that these milk recording companies do so UK-wide.
And the information provided by the cell count profiles can be telling. Details include the cow number, calving date, and the lactation number. In this case, the millions of cells indicate a serious mastitis problem, which begs the question why this particular cow has not already been culled from the herd. Attention to nutritional detail is a vital foundation to the production, performance, and ultimately profit of a successful dairy enterprise. A major contributory factor to that is the use of metabolic profiles.
The last metabolic profile was done here just before turnout in the spring of the year. Basically the blood samples were taken, some from newly calved animals, some from mid-lactation cows, and then some from the dry cows. It's really looking at their energy status and how the feed, if they're getting fed enough, what their weight loss is like. The profile was actually very good, although it did probably teach us that Robert's dry cows were actually putting on too much weight. They were getting overfit, which was actually reducing their appetite probably after they'd calved. So we've got a plan in place basically to try and solve that problem for beginning next winter.
How worthwhile is it for other farmers to do this sort of thing?
It'll certainly help that you'll find out the energy status of your cows and how well they're getting fed, and if the high lactation cows are getting enough nutrition, if the mid lactation cows are doing okay, and it'll obviously with Robert has told us that his dry cows were getting too much. So from that point of view, it's worthwhile, because if they lose too much weight in early lactation, you're again going to struggle to get them in calve, which is again lost production.
And the importance of metabolic profiles is underlined by experts at Lang Hill.
It's effectively a way of asking the cows what they think of the diet. If you went into a restaurant to get some food, you'd ask what the food's going to be like there. Cows can't tell us what's going on, so what we do is we can take blood samples, ask the cows what they think of it in terms of its energy content, protein, its mineral and its trace element content.
So when you take blood samples, can a farmer do that?
No, the samples need to be taken by your veterinary surgeon to be able to take the samples. He then sends them to a laboratory where the laboratory will do the analysis and provide the report back to both the farmer, the vet and also any feed suppliers that are available on the farm too.
How do you decide which cows to actually metabolically profile?
Well, you're after groups of cows at the critical stages of their performance. So you're after a group of dry cows just in the immediate run-up to calving, when they get in the most trouble with their energy balance at that stage. They're after them at about 10 to 20 days calved, a group of milking cows then. They also struggle in that immediate period after calving, and also a group of mid-lactation cows about 80 to 100 days calved.
So when you get the report back from the blood sampling, what sort of information is on that report?
What happens is that we measure the blood samples for metabolites, which tell us what the energy status of the cows is and what the protein status and mineral status is. It's fed back in a simple report to the farmer, his vet and any feed suppliers on the farm as well, so that they all act together to work for the nutrition.
So how should a farmer respond once he's got that report back and it's thrown up a particular problem?
What we expect is that the farmer, his vet, any feed supplier would have a meeting on the farm. They'd discuss the results and what the laboratory findings are, and then they'd be able to adjust the diet accordingly as to what the report says.
Can you think of any specific examples where metabolic profiling has actually solved a problem?
Yes, one of the biggest issues for dairy farmers in the UK and worldwide is getting cows back in calf again, and the problems of dairy cow fertility. And one of the key issues in this is cows losing body condition and having problems with negative energy balance in early lactation. So we've done a lot of work looking at identifying problem herds that have problems with cows losing body condition and having abnormal energy results, correcting this and ensuring that farmers get their cows back in calf again sooner.